Welcome to the Fisher Protocol, the show where saying The Who is the greatest rock band of all time is not subjective, but everything else is. Please take a quick second to like, subscribe, and share with your Who-minded friends. The Who is a passion of ours, and no money is being made from these videos, so liking and subscribing lets us know that we're not alone in Who land. Constructive feedback is always welcome, either in the comments below. I'm also on Facebook at the Fisher Protocol, Twitter, Fisher Protocol, and Instagram at Fisher Protocol. I'm Ethan. I'm being joined today by my best Who friend, Tom. We do not.
How's everybody doing?
Hello. We do not claim to be experts. Just two guys like to talk about the greatest rock and roll band of all time. That's The Who. Very excited to announce that the Instagram of the Fisher Protocol got a new follower this week. And it was Tom. Thank you, Tom. Thanks for joining.
Thank you. He came up with like my people I should follow, and I was like, holy shit, how am I not following this already?
Well, there hasn't been much. We were supposed to be recording our Tommy Christmas show yesterday.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that a little bit later. But speaking of Instagram, we've had some people reach out, the Who by Numbers. People like the album, and some people seem to like our review of it because we actually thought really hard this time.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, oh, not,
We didn't have to trudge through that one.
Yeah, we did have to trudge through that one. So we did hook up with a fan. I'm going to call him a fan, General H_Undead at Instagram. He got in touch with me and he said, The Who recorded 2 songs for charity because Mick Jagger and Brian Jones got arrested in early 1967. I have them, you have them, everybody has them on box set, but no one talks about them. Under my thumb in the last time. I'd love to hear anyone discuss these 2 songs. I like The Who's version, and I will go into more what he said after we talk about them a little bit. How familiar are you with these Who singles they did?
I definitely heard them. I knew the story behind it. I think they're on like 30 Years Maximum R&B or, one of those box sets that I have somewhere. I did have to kind of look up, I have the box set somewhere physically. I didn't know exactly where it was, so I did manage to find them on, I think it was Maximum A's and B's on Spotify. But yeah, I'd heard them. It had been years since I'd listened to them. Off the top of my head, I was like, oh yeah, I remember them doing it, but I don't remember it being memorable. But it was fun to like go back and listen to them like with some intent, kind of try to dissect them a little bit.
Yeah, I have a vinyl called Maximum R&B, which is them drawn with the British flag.
Yeah, I have that one too, actually. I didn't think about that.
I had to look too, but you can find one of them. I think the last time is on the Who Hit 50.
Oh, yeah.
And I think Under My Thumb is on the redone Odds and Sods.
Okay.
Which listening to this just made me want to dive into Odds and Sods, really. But do you have any, the name of this video is not The Last Time Under My Thumb. It's The Who versus the Rolling Stones. Because that's what it's going to be. And, trigger warning for people that love the Rolling Stones right now. We have some things to say, okay? And this is the perfect forum to say it. But, I'm not a huge fan of these 2 singles done by The Who.
Yeah.
Well, let me get some stuff out of the way. Both songs were produced by Kit Lambert and recorded in D. Lane Studios in London, June 28th, 1967. They were released 2 days later. On June 30th, 1967, the highest chart position was number 44. And this is a little blurb I got from You Discover Music. On June 30th, 1967, The Who paid tribute to their friends, the Rolling Stones. They released covers of 2 Stones songs, fleetingly hoping to help Mick Jagger and Keith Richards make bail. But after they were jailed following an infamous drugs bust. An infamous News of the World story prompted a police raid on Richards' Redlands home in February of that year. Mick's trial on drugs charges began on the 27th of June, and Keith's the next day. They were both found guilty. I guess they were released. So, The Who had planned to release more of these singles, but didn't because the guys were released. So, solidarity, yay.
Yeah.
Growing up in my, here comes the review. Okay. So it'll take a minute, as all my things do. growing up with my family, we were released when we got a new house. They gave us 3 CDs that we were only allowed to listen to. These were the only 3 CDs. They were Billy Joel's Greatest Hits 1 and 2. They were Invisible Touch by Genesis, and they were Hot Rocks, the Rolling Stones, which is like a 2 CD greatest hits set, right? And I love that 2 CD set, and Under My Thumb is definitely on that. I don't remember if the last time is. So that song is in my brain on the Stones version for life. It's pretty subtle studio recording.
Yeah.
And it's got some Glock, I guess what you would call Glockenspiel. I don't really know, in it. And it's got some really subtle, good acoustic guitar playing. And so that's my version. The Who's version sounds pretty rushed to me.
Yeah.
The Glockenspiel type sound they get from John's bass mostly. I enjoyed it a lot more listening to it this time, but overall I like the Under My Thumb, the Rolling Stones did better.
Yeah, and that's probably the issue I have going back and really, like I said, listening with intent. These 2 songs from The Who, is it's just going to be so hard to not think about the original versions from the Stones. If you grew up having Kraft macaroni and cheese as the only macaroni and cheese you had your entire life as a kid, and then you have like a real like homemade mac and cheese kind of thing, like it might be better, but your reference point is something else. And that's kind of where I'm at with this. It's impossible to hear Under My Thumb and not immediately think of the Stones version, no matter what. And like you said, the Who songs were definitely rushed. Not bad. They definitely sounded like The Who, and there's, some heavier guitar parts and like a guitar solo, which you just wouldn't get out of the Stones at that point. But yeah, I don't know. Doesn't blow me away. Doesn't make me ever want to listen to it. But if anything, the story behind it is at least sentimental and nice that they, wanted to help out their friends.
Yeah, and this is what General H_Undead on Instagram says. And I understand that they recorded or rather rushed, and as usual back in those days, you barely can hear Keith back in the awful mix. But I just love the way Daltrey sounds in those covers because he, to me, is better than Mick, and he proves it.
Yeah. I mean, it's what I did kind of notice. I mean, obviously, I'm a huge fan of Roger, and it's like, all right, well, how do you take a great world-class singer? And I mean, Roger's not technically the best, amazing singer, but he can belt it out. But how do you take that kind of singer, that level of singer, and do like the Mick Jagger kind of sing, speak kind of thing? Like, I would not say Mick is a good singer at any point. He's good at maybe conveying emotion and that kind of thing, but I wouldn't say he's like a great singer. His voice, just bass line, isn't great.
Okay, so I think now we can, we both said what we feel about the songs. I mean, I think I told you what I thought of Under My Thumb. The last time, they're almost interchangeable except for the guitar solo.
Yep.
I would probably pick the Stones versions of these songs. Sorry, General, but that's where we stay on those songs. But this opens up the broader conversation.
Yeah.
Of, Mick Jagger and the Rolling Stones versus The Who. And I feel like we should really try to be positive now because just for a little bit, because one, I like the Rolling Stones. Don't tell anyone I said it, but I do. And it goes back to that Hot Rocks and listening to that over and over again growing up. And I've made a playlist called Hot Rocks Plus, which adds some things in it like Can't You Hear Me Knocking, which I think is just brilliant. All that Sympathy for the Devil, Give Me Shelter. I was watching into these rabbit holes we get to that we text each other about when we're going to talk about something. I got into a Mary Clayton hole, and she sang Give Me Shelter. But she also sang The Acid Queen on the 1973 Orchestral Tommy. So nice. We're going to be talking about her a lot more in the future.
Yeah.
I don't think you can beat some of those songs as just songs. And
amazing songs.
Amazing songs. And even things like 19th Nervous Breakdown, which has real commentary on what's going And I even think Sympathy for the Devil has some real commentary on what's going on.
Oh yeah.
And and I got into a thing where I watched like Gimme Shelter again, the movie. And people always talk about, I got big problems with not Keith Richards, with Mick Jagger as I'm not even going to say it's singer, right? Frontman, right?
Yeah.
Dancing around frontman. Have you seen Gimme Shelter?
At some point, yeah. I didn't watch it. I couldn't tell you last time I watched it, but I have. Like, I enjoy the Stones too, so.
But there's this one scene where he's singing Under My Thumb, and there's just like this tripping Hell's Angel right next to him. You've seen that shot, and the guy's just losing his mind. And for Mick Jagger to be able to sing that song to those people while that's happening, like right there, I do give him respect for that kind of stage presence.
Yeah.
Do you have anything positive to say about the Rolling Stones, Tom?
So yeah, I mean, I do enjoy them. They're like great feel good music. The songs are undeniably just amazing songs. They know how to write a song. Is there a lot of depth to the songs? Probably not as much. I remember Pete at some point saying like, if I was just writing rock and roll songs like some other bands, I could put out an album a year kind of thing. And I genuinely believe that. Like the Stones could put out an album a year every year, no problem, because they can just write rock and roll songs and they're incredibly good at it. And their swing and their feel and their vibe is it's probably easy to look down on it and go, they're just like a bar band kind of thing. But I think they do hold it together really well. They might be kind of like the opposite of AC/DC, but it's still in a good way of like how they hold it together. Like AC/DC is the tightest band of all time, as far as I'm concerned. Like,
oh yeah, tight wise, even next to the Who, tight is
yeah. I mean, just
agreed.
Yeah, it looks so simple and it sounds so easy to play, but like AC/DC's, you got to be perfect. The Stones is the exact opposite, but still extremely difficult because it's just barely hanging on,
Well, it seems like now it seems like we can't help but go into the area we kind of want to go into.
No, I mean, yeah, I think the first thing I had from the Stones was 40 Licks, like it was just their 40, whatever.
Right.
And I listened to the hell out of those CDs and I enjoyed every minute of it. Like there's no argument there. That's, yeah.
And while we're still on it, Charlie Watts is a badass.
Yeah.
Watching that guy, the way he just, handles things and playing the drums in life, that guy's great. And
yeah, I don't know how he holds it together.
I don't know how he holds it together. And Ron Wood, when he is with Rod Stewart, he's amazing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Or with the Faces, Ron Wood is amazing.
He was in Jeff Beck group too. He was awesome.
Yeah, he's great. Kind of. But now let's go there. Stones trigger warning. It's about to happen. You say you got 40 Licks. I say I got Hot Rocks. Okay.
Yep.
We got these greatest hits CDs from the Rolling Stones. I'm going to count down like my 3 biggest pet peeves with the Rolling Stones. Mm-hmm. Not even counting the fact that they're not even in the conversation sometimes when the Who should be there. Like they're in there when the Who shouldn't. Like people don't put the Who in the same conversation, which is massively frustrating.
Yes.
As a lifelong Who fan. Their output. They have so many songs. They have so many albums that if you're going to put out that many, of course you're going to have 1 or 2 CDs worth of greatest hits. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah. I didn't look into how many Rolling Stones records there are. I'll leave that for someone else to correct me if they want to. But I know their studio output is at least 3 or 4 times that of the Who's studio albums.
Yeah.
Could be 2 times that. It's whatever. And half the songs on the regular albums, like you're doing an album to get 1 or 2 songs.
Yeah, I think their songs to hits ratio is way off.
And it's not like I'm the hit monger, but if it's really annoying and lame, and you buy a whole CD, but the only song on it is Mixed Emotions, which I do like. Getting for Steel Wheels era, stuff like that. It also had a good song called Through and Through. I don't want to forget. But I just think the output is much higher to get that a little amount of songs that don't have too much meaning in them.
Yeah. And I think like I tried to the other day, I just tried to like name a whole bunch of Rolling Stones albums. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like it gets tough. Like
the ones that are released since I've been alive are kind of easy.
yeah.
I don't know the songs on them. There's Bridges to Babylon. There's Steel Wheels. But before that, there's Let It Bleed.
Yep.
Get Your Guys Out, which is I think live. Sticky Fingers, Some Girls. You know, I know some of them.
Yeah. And it's tough. And then I don't want to set you off. I know we're in the same camp on this band, but I kind of look at it like I think Queen's output was definitely less, and their songs to hits ratio was bigger. But name a casual rock. Have a casual rock fan name some Queen albums. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, I don't think they can do it.
Queen's greatest hits 1 and 2 is untouchable as far like,
yeah. And growing up for me, it was classic Queen and Queen's greatest hits. You know, the ones that
exactly. Yeah.
Queen's World. I can name those. I'm not quite
yeah, I'd hope so. I kind of think of them the same. I think of them in the same kind of. I think the Queen songs are just way better, but at the same kind of thing though. Like, man, the just number of hit songs they have is amazing, but the output was kind of up there too.
Yeah, their output is up there too, and I find that if you listen to some of the Queen deeper cuts, they're actually better than the Rolling Stones deeper cuts.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Yeah. I would just shift the whole thing up. And this isn't a Queen Stones thing, but
yeah,
just kind of the same same mindset as far as not having any like banger albums all the way through.
And I think let's keep it to like this trio of people. Let's keep this to this Beatles, Stones, Who thing.
Yeah.
Or, throw the Kinks in there. This very specific post-English War type of thing.
Yeah.
I even think you can include Pink Floyd in that because they came from the exact same thing. Zeppelin too, hanging out in the same clubs and areas. I think Queen hung out in clubs a little bit later.
Oh yeah, no, they're different time frame for sure.
Yeah. So the other thing is the meanings in the songs.
Yeah.
The Who has their squeeze boxes. They have their You Better You Bets. They have their pictures of Lily, right? They have their magic bus, right? But they have these big, massive statements.
Pictures of Lily, though, at least it's about something.
About something. Squeeze box is also about something.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're all about things, and maybe they're not savory things, but there's no big ideas with the Rolling Stones. The big ideas is I'm going to steal this from someone I know. We're a bunch of drunk guys, and we want to make a bunch of drunk guys party.
Yep.
Yeah.
4 drunks by drunks.
Huh?
4 drunks by drunks.
4 drunks by drunks. And is that a Darkness shirt?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. You got some problems. Anyway. I just think that the big ideas, and I don't think they're talking to their audience as a reflection of their audience, and that's what the Who does.
Yeah.
All these songs have to be written by these two guys together when they get together. Pete does all the meaning, all the songs, the whole albums, the demos, and brings them in.
Yeah.
And has the instrumentation and singer to make them feel like something. I think. Yeah. And I love the big ideas from the Who.
Yeah, it gets, the Who's, it's Pete working through himself, working through his personality, all that. And like I picture a Rolling Stones writing session, and it's, bunch of guys sitting around on couches, blitzed out of their mind, like, oh, what do you think of this? And just, I mean, Keith Richards is a riff monster, you know, maybe not in the sense of like riffs technically, but man, he comes up with some just, you know, jangly, great little, you know, spots. You know, he's playing in a weird tuning. You know, he's an incredible guitar player. He's probably not the best guitar player even in the band, but
they literally bring on better guitar players to be his backup guitar player.
Oh yeah, no, because if it was just him up there, I don't know what point he stopped like being, I don't know, the sole guy in the band. Not that he ever was, but just they needed to like prop him up almost like Weekends at Bernie kind of shit. Like,
well, and the main thing that people like about them is their attitude and what they represent, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to talk smack about anyone's guitar playing because I think the guitar playing is good.
Yeah.
None of these bands that we're talking about do track for track repeats of solos like their artistic pieces like AC/DC and most importantly Pink Floyd does.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's that. My main beef before we get to the main beef, like my main personal beef is Mick Jagger, because I think that they sound really good in the studio.
Yes.
Which brings me to my main point about the Rolling Stones. This is the main Rolling Stones trigger warning for everyone out there, if we haven't gotten it yet. The Rolling Stones don't sound good live. Period.
Yeah.
Period. I haven't heard a recording of them. I haven't seen them live either, because the last report I got is my brother went to go see the Rolling Stones with my mother, and they were having a really good time dancing. And then a drunk guy leaned over and said to him, "Enjoy fucking your mom later." So I'm not going to go and have that experience at a Rolling Stones concert. But I've seen lots of footage ever since I saw that documentary when I was growing up, 25 times 5, The Continuing Ventures of the Rolling Stones. And they show all these balloon dropping clips of Mick singing Satisfaction. You show all these, and I see all these clips of him singing Gimme Shelter with different female vocalists. I don't think the Rolling Stones sound good live. I might have to put a big subjective over this.
Yeah.
This is subjective. But if you can't do it live, I don't think you can do it. And I personally, against the millions and millions of people out there, do not think the Rolling Stones have it live, and that's my main problem with them.
No, 100%. Yeah, I'd sent you that message the other night about like, holy shit, these guys, man. Because I was like, I'd looked up some live versions of Under My Thumb, and you know, and just kind of working my way through some live Stone stuff. And yeah, it hit me like a fucking sledgehammer again of just how not impressive they are live. You know, I like Mick Jagger singing. Keith Moon could do as well. You know what I mean? Like it's just not good. He's an incredible showman and a frontman. Like,
but that's number one to him. It's not getting across the songs.
Right. Yeah. Because I mean, I'd fucking drop over dead doing what he does a night in a concert.
Sure.
That guy's running around dancing. I mean, being a lunatic.
That's his job.
I mean, he's a John Lee Hooker sing-song kind of, you know, he just talks the song, talks the lyrics. There's just, And I tell you, when I was talking about they're this loosey-goosey kind of like feeling, barely holding it together. That I cannot imagine listening to that live for the 2.5 hours or whatever they play, because that train feels like it's going to fall off the tracks the entire time.
You know, and his job is to jump around, and he'll say his job is to connect to the audience, and he does connect to that audience, and he connects to that audience really well. Roger Daltrey chooses to take the songs Pete Townsend has written, perform them to the best of his ability.
Yeah.
As he used to. And that's how he connects to the audience.
Yeah.
Through the sheer hard vocal that he provides. which is second to none. You can argue with me about Freddie Mercury all you want. Freddie Mercury is a man I love. He's a man I collect things for. I was almost a bigger Queen fan for a little bit there than The Who. I love Freddie Mercury, but the person who gets those particular songs over to me from a teenage angsty point of view, which is how we got into The Who, is Pete Townshend's frustrations filtered through Roger Daltrey's sheet metal worker voice.
Yep.
With the pounding drums and the bass behind it. And nothing can beat that. And no songs about brown sugar or tumbling dice can make me feel different.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I agree. And even, I mean, being a band is so much more than just music, unfortunately. I don't know if there's a better marketed band than the Stones. AC/DC is definitely up there. Ozzy Osbourne, there's definitely some band, Beatles, obviously, just marketed extremely well. But man, there's not a good looking guy in the band. Mick Jagger's not attractive. Sorry. He's got the body of a 12-year-old girl. Like, just if I need a lead guy, and if he can sing just as well as Roger Daltrey, I'm taking Roger Daltrey every time.
If I'm basing it, I'm not basing the guys on looks only because I've done it before and I've gotten to talking to, because there are lots of people out there that think Roger Daltrey is a very good looking man.
He is.
Yeah. Some will say, but when he stands there and he says out to here in the fields, I believe he's willing to lead us out there in the fields.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Fight for our meals. So, I mean, it's kind of misleading. You know where this is going to go, The Who versus the Rolling Stones. So, I think The Who wins.
Yeah, it's not even close.
It's not even close. Think
about like Rock and Roll Circus. That was not head to head, but man, like how not close that was.
I mean, not even like head to head. It was just like, because The Who just came on and did one song.
Yeah, and blew the place down.
Just one and torched it and walked away. And apparently they didn't release it because of that.
Yeah.
Because the Stones were not in shape to go, listen to The Who. Blow them away. I don't know. Did you hear that? Did you look up that thing I said about John Lennon talking about Mick Jagger? Did you look that up?
I didn't look it up. No, I forgot to, yeah.
It's pretty funny. He basically made it very clear that the Beatles knew that every 2 months the Stones were coming out with a copy of what the Beatles had done 2 months before.
I mean, that's their whole MO. You know what I mean? They were just, them and Led Zeppelin, they were just taking all the blues musicians from America and, tweaking those songs.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that does it for this portion of the video. I think we got our point across without trying to be too vile.
Yeah.
But really, I can honestly say that this conversation really is going to come up with the Stones more than any other band.
Yeah.
I get a lot of music education growing up from my brother, and we listened to Tommy and at the same time and on the same trajectory, and he just went for this Stones nonsense. And we turned it into a brotherly thing for a little while where it was just like this versus that, which was dumb. But he's a Stones guy. I'm a Who guy, and that's why I think about it a lot, because people are always bringing up the Rolling fucking Stones, man. I don't get it. Anyway, shout out to the Goodfellas by Minute podcast, because there was a guy on there too that said that he didn't get the Rolling Stones. And he was the first one I heard say it out loud, which gave me the courage to say this. But Gimme Shelter is a good song.
Oh, yeah. Unbelievable.
Especially with the live version with Florence Welch. Everyone should look that up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kills it.
And I can share my Spotify list for the Hot Rocks Plus. You guys see what I like. But I think that's it for The Who versus the Rolling Stones. Bye. Okay, so that gives me a good cutout. So let me... Now, if anyone is still listening, we'll put this part at the end. I keep promising this Tommy holiday special. We were supposed to record it yesterday. Someone in the Fisher Protocol family of people connected to one of them decided to go on vacation. A boss went on vacation because they thought they deserved vacation. And then they came home and they were feeling ill, but they went to work anyway. And they ended up getting positive for COVID-19. So me and Tom are playing it safe and not seeing each other till next week to do the Tommy deep dive. It's just, I know we're all getting stir crazy. If you feel the need to go on vacation, wear a mask and get tested when you come home. That's all.
Yeah, just quarantine after your vacation. Do the right things. Don't go straight to work.
Some guy 2 hours away decides to go on vacation and we can't do our Tommy show. It's kind of lame. You know what I mean?
Big middle finger to that guy.
Yeah. So everyone stay safe. Hopefully we'll have a Tommy show for you soon. You've been listening to a lot of Tommy?
Oh, yeah.
Tom?
Tommy.
And you like it?
Yeah, it's easy to do. Easy to do.
It's not a hard thing.
No.
Another little Who tidbit. I was watching the 1989 performance, which we'll get into for sure, because I have a feeling this is going to be a long Tommy thing. And my son started asking all the right questions because he was watching it with me. He asked me 2 questions. Is that a ponytail? And 2, who's this dude with the yellow guitar?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, I started to laugh out loud. He was like, what? I was like, that's Steve. He's all right. You know what I mean?
He nailed that 80s guitar tone for sure.
Hey, man, it's part of the soundscape of that album, and I kind of need it now because it's there.
Yep.
It's just kind of weird that he's there in general. Also, we're in for a Clayton LaBelle Turner SmackDown of epic proportions. There can only be one winner. It's not predetermined, even though you guys out there in Hooland think it is. Man, you got anything else, Tom?
I don't think so. Yeah, I've really been working my way through the Tommy stuff. Was really familiar with Live at Leeds, that live album, just the studio album. The 89 stuff I had listened to a little bit, but it had been a while. The movie stuff I hadn't listened to in years. And then the orchestra stuff I hadn't really listened to at all. So I had like a nice gamut of things I had to listen to. And it's been fun to do,
Well, I can tell
it's a lot of Tommy, man. It's a lot of just digesting the same thing over and over again. But
it's a lot of history too, because it's my first entry point. You know what I mean, for the Who, and it'll be really fun to get into. And we're not going to go plot review or anything. I think we're just going to review the song by song.
Yeah,
and maybe duke it out on a couple. I can feel a fight coming on a couple of them.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. So get ready for that. It's going to be your drunk uncles arguing about different versions of Tommy.
Perfect.
Everybody, thank you very much. Stay safe.
See
you
you
next time. Say no to the Stones. Bye.